fluids at home. The first time you're going to start doing this, we will teach you here in person, but this video can act as a useful reference for you to check at home. First off, we're going to talk about how to set up the actual fluid bag itself. When you get your kit, you're going to have the actual bag of fluids. Make sure to check the blue name listed here. There are potentially two types of solution you could get, either lactated ringers like this bag or sodium chloride. Check the bag to be sure that you have the correct type. You'll also get an IV line. It should look something like this when it comes. There'll be an exterior plastic packaging and the line will be spooled up inside. And then along with your line in your bag will come some needles. They may come in one of two styles. We will talk about how to open these in a moment. To begin with, you need to connect the line to the bag. Both items are going to have an exterior packaging you will remove, and there's a tear spot on the fluid bag to create a hole large enough to remove the inner pouch. This bag is trash and can go in any garbage bag. You're also going to remove the bag from your line. There should be a perforation that you can tear. This is also trash. Most lines that we are getting right now will also have this piece of paper whose only purpose is to keep the line coiled neatly. Pull that off, place it in your trash pile. Then stretch out your line. You're going to have one end that will look something like this. There's a bubble chamber and a piece that actually attaches to the bag. You'll have a couple of clamps. There are two possible styles. This line has both. One, you slide your line over to the narrow portion to pinch the line off. The other has a wheel. One end of this piece of plastic is wider than the other. If that wheel is at the narrow end, your line is closed. If it is at the wide end, your line is open. The line will always come open. Make sure you close it before attaching it to your fluid bag. The last part to pay attention to is this end right here. This is where your needle will attach. Make sure you keep the cap on at all times if there is no needle attached. On your fluid bag, you're going to have a pull tab to create an opening to put your line in. Pull that tab and you'll have a nice hole. Find your bubble chamber on your line, remove the cap, and insert into the hole until the line is in up to its hub. At this point, you want to lift your bag upright. If you have a handy place to hang it, this is a good moment. And then you're going to open your clamp briefly to allow fluid to run into the line. You can also squeeze some air up into the bag so that your bubble chamber looks like this. It will make it easier to see when the fluid is running. Keep running fluid until you have liquid through the entire line and no air bubbles. An air bubble will look like this. And you just let the fluid keep going until all the air bubbles come out. When you think they're out, stop your line and do a quick double check for any significant air. This line is clear. Now we're going to talk about how to open your needles. There are two possible styles of packaging. One is essentially a paper and plastic clamshell. The end closest to the hub, the circular part, is where you're going to open it. Your other end is the pointy part. Don't open that end. These you can peel apart to expose the hub of the needle. The other style will have one plastic cap heat sealed to a colored cap. To break the seal, which looks like this, grasp each end in a different hand and rotate in opposite directions to snap the plastic. You can now expose the hub. Whichever style you plan to use, make sure the only thing that touches the hub of the needle and the end of the line is each other. Do not let them touch the ground or anything else. These are sterile, and if they touch anything other than each other, they are no longer sterile. Save the cap that came on the line. You can use this to close your line off in between uses. Now that your bag is ready to go, we're going to talk about what you want your space to look like when you get ready to give your pet their fluids. First off, you're going to need to be able to hang your bag a few feet above the level your pet is going to sit at. In this instance, I'm using an IV stand. Most people don't have those at home. So you're going to want to think about areas in your house that either already have hooks mounted to them, like bathroom doors or closet doors, or cabinets that are convenient to a table or countertop, and you'll use a wire hanger placed through the loop at the top of your fluid bag to hang that bag across your door or cabinet. Once you've selected your location, hang your bag, make sure your needle is securely attached to the line, and then set up somewhere comfortable for your pet. Larger pets like dogs you could potentially do on the floor, in which case at first you might want a helper to hold your dog still. Smaller pets like small dogs and cats, you'll probably want up on a table or countertop that's approximately waist height. Make sure whatever surface you use is skid resistant. So you can use a bath mat if it's rubber backed by itself. This bath mat does not have rubber, so I would place it over an old yoga mat or something else, maybe a carpet pad, okay? You can also use a towel spread out, or if your pet prefers a bed, you could place them in a bed. Any of these are good options because the surface will be soft and create something your pet can hold on to so they feel secure. And the skid-free item will help them avoid slipping, which would make them nervous. Once your space is prepared, then you're going to get your pet. Bear with me a moment as I get our friend Lucky. You, talkative. So this is Lucky the cat. We're going to give her a very small dose of fluid so you can see how to insert your needle. The first thing you want to pay attention to is where on your pet you would place your needle. You're aiming for the area, basically the base of the neck above the shoulders. And you may even feel a couple bony ridges here. That's the top of her shoulder blades. This is the area where your pet's going to have the most available skin to put some fluid underneath. When you're ready to insert your needle, you're going to create a tent of skin by pinching that skin upwards so that your needle can insert here. Make sure when you insert the needle, you are horizontal to your pet's spine so that if they wiggle, you're not likely to hurt them. Have your line nearby, pull straight off to remove the cap and expose the sharp end of your needle. Pinch up the skin and insert the tip of the needle as smoothly as you can. Some pets will have a little bit more resistance in their skin if there's any scar tissue. Hold the line in place and roll your clamp open. Double check the bubble chamber is running. There's a scale on your bag that you will use to know if you have given your pet enough fluids. Each line on that bag, if there's a number next to it, indicates that you've given 100 milliliters if the fluid level is at that line. The smaller lines in between are at every 50 milliliters. So for instance, this line would tell me that I've given 100 milliliters. This next line would tell me I'd given 150. When your fluid level is next to the line that you're using, then you're ready to close off your line, and you're going to roll your clamp back to the thin end of your clamp. Now pinch the skin at the base of the needle as you smoothly pull straight out to avoid sticking yourself, and continue pinching for a couple of seconds to help make sure the fluids don't come back out. If a few drips come out, it's not the end of the world. Now, place the cap for your needle flat on a table. Insert the tip of the needle into the cap and then snap it in place and help your pet get down. You can give your pet a treat for distraction or reward when you've finished. At this moment, I can now remove my needle and place the cap back on it that we talked about earlier to keep this line clean. Store your bag upright to avoid getting air in the line. Keep it out of reach of your pets and children, and you'll be ready to go again next time. Thanks, and good luck.